Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and I wanted to kind of take a fresh look at the journey guide. And every time I open up the journey guide, I just get so annoyed because I think that the tiers are just so messed up. I don't think they properly illustrate when you should go for those things, or more importantly, the amount of investment you actually need to obtain those characters. So we're going to go ahead. I created my own tiers, kind of using, some of the ones they have there, but really kind of recreating some of these things. So we're going to dive right in. But first and foremost, let's give a huge shout out to our channel members. Thank you guys so much for your continued support, especially, when I'm taking time off to be able to spend with family and friends. So I do appreciate every single one of you guys. If you are interested, channel memberships, link in the description down below. Otherwise, like and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let's get in here and let's talk about everybody's favorite thing, the journey guide. So we're going to be specifically looking at the solo journeys. And when you see here they have these tiers 1, 2, 3, 4, and then finally tier 5, I just don't think it's enough to properly illustrate how difficult some of these things are. I feel some characters they put in tiers that are a little bit too, that they're like for example, I'll just say it right now that Cal does not belong in tier 3. He is not the same as these things. So we're going to be rearranging this. Because you look at this and it's recommended for players with this, or 1 million galactic power, 1.5 million galactic power. It's not realistic. So we're gonna go in, take a look at that. So I kind of created some squads and we'll talk about these things. So the first one that we're gonna look at is the first two, right? Tier 1 and tier 2. So at tier 1 for Grandmaster Yoda and Emperor Palpatine, you could do these with level 65 characters. It's not that difficult to get these characters to 7 stars. Very easy events. They've been around for a very long time, so they're not all that hard. The big thing here with both of them as well is that they require just a faction, right? You've got Jedi for Yoda and you've got Rebels for Emperor Palpatine here. So you need some Rebels for. So massive factions with a lot of options, and that makes them that much easier to get. When a character has a lot of options for you to be able to farm them, their journey guide ranking in my mind goes significantly down. It does weigh into that situation because when there's more options, it's allowing you to not have to do something specific, right? So those are the first two. Then you get into tier 2 where I say kind of level 80 with BB-8 and R2-D2. Still very easy events. R2-D2, you need Empire characters, and BB-8, you need First Order. Really not hard at all to do. Even BB-8, 7-star First Order characters, you're looking at somebody like Captain Phasma, with some other character, it's not hard to get him. You might not get, and this is not saying that you're going to get BB-8 right away, because you need to farm the First Order, but it's not like you need Supreme Leader Kylo Ren to get this event done. It doesn't take a lot at all. I've had BB-8 for eons before I had a Relic First Order character. It's not a hard event at all. So then you're going to get down to the third tier here. And I kind of say Gear 8 is your baseline here. This is the first one where I really think you're going to want Gear 8s, maybe even a Gear 9, but probably Gear 8 gets these events done. Not anything crazy here. There's nothing groundbreaking. The big thing with each of these different characters is there is specific requirements. With Thrawn, I debated throwing Thrawn in with BB-8 and R2-D2, but I moved him down a tier. I moved him to this tier because Thrawn has a Phoenix requirement, which is a lot more stringent than First Order, Empire. So I felt that Thrawn deserved to be in a tier 3, and that's also where I would put the Chimera as well, because even though you need the Ghost and the Phantom, the gearing there is not difficult. It's a very easy event. So, it requires Rebel ships, and there's plenty of Rebel ships to choose from, so it's not difficult. Commander Luke Skywalker, we all know that event is very easy. The JTR event, the Beskar Mando event, they don't take a lot of gear. They're not overly hard. With JTR, she does require BB-8, but again, it doesn't take a lot to get BB-8. So it really, these are all layups right here. This is the, you base it, the Thrawn event is the most difficult one here, and even still, you're getting it done with Gear 8s. So, again, we're moving on, right? So then you've got Tier 4, which is Gear 9 to 12. So, like, your Revan events are not that difficult. You're looking at, maybe some Gear 9s, maybe a Gear 11 here and there. Like, it doesn't take a lot to unlock those characters. Where I kind of put them in a different tier, one, it does take a little bit more gear, and I think the events are a little bit more difficult, for a player. But then you move into, the people like C-3PO and Chewbacca, which are two of the harder Journey Guide events in the game. Now, the Chewbacca event, I feel a lot of players will say that's super easy now. And I think the reason for that is because everybody's got Relic Bounty Hunters to get Executor. So Chewbacca becomes a joke. But, before that was a thing, I mean, Chewbacca was not easy to get. This was a very difficult event. It's still one of the more difficult events. But now that there's a lot more bounty hunters with a lot better mechanics, this event has gotten easier. Now, the C-3PO event, we've all come to love and know. I've got a guide on that one to show you guys how it's done. It's actually pretty, it's straightforward in the sense that you just wait for the right opening play. But if we all did this with, properly geared Ewoks, I just can't even imagine. I can't wait. When I have a relic, when I go through Leia and I get Nisa and Wicket and Chief Chirpa to relics, we're going to redo this event just to see how much easier it is to have relic levels on those characters, because I bet it's going to be a joke. Now, I say that because we don't like to do this event with relic characters, so I get it. But I think it'll get easier now that people are going to be willing to splash a little bit more on their Wicket, Chirpa, and Nisa, knowing that's going to come back to them. But then we've got Padme here, and I struggled with Padme because I feel that she has the most strict, or that it takes a little bit more gear to get the Padme event done than some of the other ones. What Padme's saving grace is in my mind, I moved her down a tier. Her saving grace is that she's just a separatist faction. So a very large faction. Her and Chewbacca both have larger factions to steal from, right? You got a lot of different bounty hunters and a lot of different separatists. So they're ones that you can almost back into, that you don't need to be specifically farming towards them to get them done. Now, with Padme, what's kind of kept her here is it's a larger faction, but you do need a little bit more gear to get it done. And so I think that she belongs in that tier 4 rather than tier 3 where she is with these characters. And then I'd say tier 4 is also where the Millennium Falcon belongs, simply because the requirements there are bounty hunter ships, and they're a lot more difficult to obtain than Rebel ships are in my mind. You're not... So there's a little bit more work involved to get through the Millennium Falcon event. And you need Han and Chewbacca to have that Millennium Falcon. So it's just, I don't know, it's kind of one of those things where there's a little bit more, work to there to get that Millennium Falcon. All right, tier 5. Now, this is a huge change because Cal Kestis, who was up here in this tier, is now down in tier 5. Very intentional. So Cal Kestis is in tier 5 because it's a Gear 12 requirement. Yes, I know there's a ton of Kyrotex here, guys. I completely understand that. But at the end of the day, you only need Gear 12 to unlock him. And that is worth something. It is worth noting that there's no relic requirements to unlock him. The same thing can be said for General Skywalker. I've seen that event done with Gear 12s multiple times, in all phases that Gear 12s can work. Again, there's a aspect of how many times you want to play the event, but it can work there. And then Darth Malak, it's the same situation where I think you could do that. If you Gear 12 to everybody for that event, I think you'd be fine. I think you'd get it done. Again, the difficulty wise, I did my Malak with less, but I also had a Relic 5 Jedi Knight Revan kind of carrying my light side to victory. So I'm not the greatest to say that, it could be done with Gear 12. I've seen it done with Gear 12, so I've seen plenty of people do it that way. But you could kind of do it in the same light of, you can go a little bit less than Gear 12 if you throw relics on, 1 or 2 people. So, but I kind of put them in tier 5 for that reason, that there's no need to relic anyone for any of those events to get it done. While Jedi Knight Cal, I took into consideration the amount of gear you need for him and said, yeah, for General Skywalker and Malak, you're going to need more characters. You need 10 characters compared to Jedi Knight Cal, where you only need 5. So, you got to kind of weigh your options there and say that it's about on par with each other. So then we got tier 6. And in tier 6, we've got Aphra, Starkiller, and Grand Inquisitor, where they have Relic 5 requirements. Now, with Grand Inquisitor, yes, he does have an extra character comparative to Starkiller and Dr. Aphra, but 5 Relic 5s is not all that difficult. And I'm not going to talk about how stupid his event is, because his event is very stupid. It's a very stupid event. The reason I put him here is that you get it done with Relic 5s. You do get it done with Relic 5s. It might take some remodding. There's some strategy involved, but it's not like a, C-3PO pulling your hair out kind of situation. I did not get that vibe at all. It was just like a dumb thing that you're like, okay, I actually have to switch mods around for this, and you get it done like the first time you do that. It's just kind of one of those. It's a very strange event. For Starkiller and Aphra, you only need 4 characters at Relic 5. Not difficult either way to get that done if you were looking to do that. Relic 5 to me is a very reasonable relic level. I don't think it takes too much effort to get there, particularly with the resources you're getting for free through assault battles and other ways. I don't think Relic 5s take all that much resources that you couldn't kind of accumulate throughout, that period of time. And then finally, Tier 7. So you've got Jedi Knight Luke, we've got Executor, we've got our Profundity and Leviathan. So, and this is going, all the rest of these are just kind of like an order of how I place them. But in this one, I particularly place this in order of what I think is the easiest to the most difficult of these events in terms of like relic requirements for me, where there's various relic levels here. I mean, you think you need, for Jedi Knight Luke, while it's only relic 3s, you've got a lot more relic levels that you need to fill out there. You think you need to get Wampa, Hermit Yoda, Commander Luke Skywalker himself, C-3PO, Chewbacca, Rolo, Captain Han, Lando, Darth Vader, plus a ship phase. Like, there's a lot that goes into that Jedi Knight Luke event. And you kind of marry that up to the differences of like Grand Inquisitor, Starkiller, and Aphra, and I just think Jedi Knight Luke is a little bit more of a challenge. And then between, Executor, Profundity, Leviathan, you've got Relic 8s, you've got some Relic 9s, Relic 7s. There's a lot more work involved here. So I think they kind of belong in Tier 7. And that's kind of my fresh take on the Journey Guide and where I think things shake up in terms of like difficulty of the farm. I can't really speak to the difficulty of events as much because, as I was saying with like this C-3PO event, that would be so much easier with gear. The Chewbacca event, the same thing. Like, it's so much easier when you actually have gear on these characters. So I don't want to make this a list of like, this is the most difficult challenge event, because I'm sure someone with Relic Ewoks is going to go in there and destroy the C-3PO event. So, at what point are we splitting hairs, right? But yeah, this is my new take on the Journey Guide. I think it all makes sense. It's kind of based on what it's going to take you at each level to unlock the character. But yeah, I really got sick and tired of like going in the Journey Guide here. And every time I do, it just baffles me that Cal Kestis, of all things, is in like Tier 3. Like, that is just so misleading to players. Like, he's not a Tier 3 character. And honestly, like, Padme really isn't either, because they both take significantly more work than the rest of these. So that's the video. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Smash that subscribe button, leave likes, leave comments, and I'll see you on the next video, guys. Cheers.